Hello, everybody. This is the Chocolate News Podcast, and I'm your co-host, John Alexander Reese.
And I'm your co-host, Andrea Carter.
And if you didn't know, the Cincinnati Herald has been around since 1955 and is the leading African American owned newspaper in the greater Cincinnati area and northern Kentucky area. How's it going, Andrea?
It's going fine, John. It's an exciting week. Very exciting week.
Yes, it was actually in the 50s today, which was nice compared to the cold weather. Ooh.
We're into the middle of March, so we still got a few weeks left before we have that continuous rain that we always have in spring.
Oh yeah, April
And
showers. Yeah.
April showers and it starts warming up. And then we don't know what to wear. Like we've been all winter. We don't know if it's gonna be warm or cold or cool or whatever. So it's
Yes.
it's it's gonna be interesting. So at least it's not snow.
That well, don't forget it did flurry the other day, which was
Well, yeah, flurries. I mean, it's
yeah,
flurries, but it's
yeah,
not
that's true.
like what's happening in the Northeast or out in California.
Oh
It
God.
seems like both ends of the country are getting hit by snow, and it seems like it's flipped this year. Both ends are pretty decent. New York, because of where New York sits, all the East Coast usually gets a little something, but usually we're pretty good. This year we're tap dancing around the warm weather, so
Yeah.
it's
Um,
interesting.
yeah. So what's the chocolate news of the week, Andrew?
I'm going to start off from the historical perspective. That it is Black Newspaper Week, and
Yay.
yes, and the culmination of Black Press Week is going to occur on March 17th, where Dr. Benjamin Chavis, who is president of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, is going to give a State of the Black Press address at the National Press Club in DC. And a number of prominent individuals will be attending this event to talk about the state of the Black press, where we are, how we're moving into the digital space, and how we are doing our due diligence to report the news of the Black community, and and the effects and everything from there. We were first to report that the virus was airborne. We've been on the forefront of the gun violence issue. We're on the forefront of what's happening in all of our communities while covering national issues. So it's going to be a very interesting address. I'm sure, they'll release his speech once it's done so we can get it up so everyone can read it. But I think everyone just needs, like, if you're looking for an alternative, the Black press is covering it for you. There are other different entities out there online. The Herald, we're all moving to the digital space to try to provide the pertinent information, fun and good, both the good and the bad in the Black community. So look for that. Also, it's an interesting week because President Biden shocked everyone by signing an executive order to order gun stronger background checks on people who buy weapons and strengthen the red flag laws in the various states that have
Ooh.
them. Yes, and basically, it was signed while Biden was the families of the victims of the Monterey Park, California Lunar New Year shooting that occurred. Well, their families met with President Biden, and he signed the executive order while they were there in his presence. So that's how serious he was taking it. And basically, the order gives a list of three directions, the directions fall into three categories: keeping guns out of dangerous hands, holding the gun industry accountable, and supporting communities impacted by gun violence. And gun violence has increased across the country through COVID, and it continues to increase a little bit here and there. Cincinnati experienced their own rise in gun violence over the last 2 years. This year it's settled down a little bit, but we still have shootings going on. And we just have not found a solution that encourages our young people to choose a different way than picking up a gun and settling their issues. And I've gone into long diatribes over that, and I'm not going to do it tonight. But I at least want to acknowledge this executive order, and if anyone is interested in discussing what around Ohio communities are doing about gun violence, Amnesty International is hosting a town hall on Zoom next week on March 22nd from 6:30 to 8. And In fact, Father Chris from St. Andrew's Church in Evanston is going to be one of the panelists speaking on this Zoom call to talk about gun violence and what everyone's trying to do. So it's going to be an interesting discussion going on. And I'm going to be listening in and we'll hear what they have to say. Next up, the Oscars.
Oh, they're fantastic.
I was amazed how many firsts there were of the Oscars, how many people won. Now, the guy who won for Everything, Everywhere, All at Once,
I believe his name is Kui Hui Kwan. Yeah,
yes.
because
Do
he was
you
short
know?
round in Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I didn't even recognize him.
Oh yeah, he's grown up a lot.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it was amazing to me. I didn't realize he was short round until I saw pictures with him with Gregory Harrison.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
is that
Harrison
right?
Ford. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Harrison Ford. God, I'm changing everybody's name. And I was like, oh my God. And he was so excited for him. And it's nice to see someone who started out in an Indiana Jones movie to do great acting. Just like Jamie Lee, a lot of people are booing Jamie Lee Curtis.
I
Um,
I don't know why because well, am I upset that Angela Bassett didn't win? Yes.
yes.
But I'm not mad that she didn't win because Jamie Lee Curtis, she's been championing the film all year round. She was good in it. You know, this is like she celebrated her co-stars. It was never she always thanked her co-stars. She was championing for Michelle Yeoh. So I can't be too mad at Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought she did a good job in the film. You know,
Well, I
just
mean, and on top of that, she's known for playing quirky characters.
yeah,
And when I saw the bits and pieces that I've seen, I have to go see the movie now. But the bits and pieces that I saw with her part, one, I was like, is that Jamie Lee Curtis? I didn't even recognize her. And then two, I think she did a heck of a really and truly Jamie Lee in the last 5, 6 years of the acting gigs she's done. You can see her growth as an actor
hmm,
because you always associate her with Halloween
yeah,
and Mike. Is it Mike Myers? Halloween.
yeah. Michael Myers.
Michael Myers, and not that I'm going to. I saw the first few Halloween movies, and then
I love
I'm
the
I'm
Halloween movies.
I'm Halloween. I can't see fright movies anymore because I loved them as a kid. You know how you indulge in them so much that you can't deal with it now.
Yeah,
That's where I am, and I was a huge Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween,
yeah,
People Under the Stairs, and all other whacked out, crazy, how frightening films, all that stuff. I watched so many of them. I can't watch them now. I can't. But my hairdresser is a huge fan of everything. But anyway,
yeah,
so the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis won, I am not surprised. Number one, she's part of Hollywood, old Hollywood royalty.
yeah.
Her mother was nominated for an Oscar, Janet Leigh. Her
Hmm.
father was Tony Curtis.
Right.
Eventually she was going to be honored by the Academy one way or the other. She was going to be honored, whether it's best Halloween, Scream Demon, whatever. She was going to get either an honorary Oscar or she was going to get an Oscar. And
Right.
I think when she decided to be herself and go gray and just said, you know what? She just decided that she's just going to accept life the way it is. When that moment, that light bulb went off in her, she became a better actress.
Yeah.
Not knocking Angela Bassett because Angela Bassett should have won some time ago for the
Oh yeah,
stuff that she's
definitely.
done.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, we still have, even though they have improved things with the Academy, we still have older Caucasian people voting
Yeah.
who don't like Black people. And
I
as one guy was quoted
I think
saying,
it's just like they're more hesitant to change because I can tell it is getting more diverse because a film like Everything Everywhere All at Once, which folks you should check out because it's a really good film. Like 10, 20 years ago, that film would have never been nominated for an Oscar, let alone win. So there is some small change happening, you know.
yes, it's like everything is kicking and screaming. but people are finding with change you get dollars,
Yeah.
you know. And I think also what was wonderful is Michelle Yeoh won, which was
Yes.
incredible.
Yes.
And she's always been a fantastic actress. I've admired her work. But I think what that was wonderful is Ruth E. Carter.
Yes. She made history.
Yes, she did. The only person to have two Oscars, black person to have two
Black
Oscars,
woman.
but
Yep.
also to
Black
win
woman.
for the.
Yep.
Is this her second one for costume?
Yep. Her second one. She won for the first Black Panther, actually, and she won again for the sequel.
I forgot that.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That and I wonder if that's history itself, the win for both the original and the sequel.
It could very well be. I know that she's the first Black woman to have two Oscars, so that was already groundbreaking.
That is, I heard her speech, and then when she said at the end, "This is for my mother who's 101," I was like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
And then the other guy, I cannot say his name, Tae Hoon Kwan,
Ki Hui Kwan, I think that's how you pronounce it. But
he Kwan.
yeah, but his
He
speech
was
was
crying because his mother was 82,
yeah, but
and
just but
it
just
was
his
so moving.
speech, but just his speech was amazing. He just like growing up in a refugee camp and then acting in movies when he was a child. Unfortunately, he couldn't get any roles for a long time, and he saw the movie Crazy Rich Asians, and then he said, "You know what? Why don't I go back into the game?" And then he got the role and everything, everywhere, all at once, and it's like the ultimate comeback story. And he said, "It's American Dream." I said, "Well, even though I do have some problems with the American dream, that is a good example of the American dream, I have to say."
Yes, it is. I mean, really, truly, it is, and I think it's fantastic. And I'm just looking forward to next year
Yep,
and
me too.
see what's going to happen. So now, the most exciting thing that's going to take over our lives for the next 2 weeks.
Yep,
Well, first I'll start with local. This is an exciting week for the locals. Let's give it to the ladies for
yep,
Purcell Marion and Princeton High School, who won Division 1 and Division 2 of their basketball team championships.
yep.
I
They're
think it's amazing. Girl power to the highest.
exactly. And special shout out to D Alexander. She plays on Purcell, and I believe she's only a sophomore. She won last year when she was just a freshman. Now she's a sophomore. So,
Oh my God.
that girl's going places. That's all I gotta say.
You know what? I'm going to have to get back to watching high school basketball. I swear. Because I think high school basketball, that's when it's its purest.
Yeah.
Um, they're playing for passion. Even, I mean, talent too, but their passion is so raw and determined, and it's unbelievable. And I'm so happy for these young ladies because that's a moment that you can hang on to for the rest of your life and say, yes, I know what it's like to win. I know what it's like to succeed. And the coaches, to think what they did to mold these girls into something so wonderful to win. Because the boys, like, what's going on with the boys? I have no comment about the boys, but anyway. Um, but congratulations to both of them. And but that leads us into what's going to take over our lives starting tomorrow.
Yep.
Xavier University, Northern Kentucky University, and then the Kentucky Wildcats all got into the big dance.
Yep. That's good
I'm a
for
little disappointed that UC didn't make it,
yeah.
but then again, their season has been wonky. Is a good word?
Could say
Is that a good word
inconsistent.
for them?
Could say inconsistent.
And Xavier, they've been a roller coaster ride, but they have been, that ride has gotten bigger as their season went on. And they got Coach Miller back,
Yep.
who took them to the big dance last time he was coach for Xavier. So I think it's going to be an exciting time. Um, I'm a little concerned because Northern Kentucky's playing Houston Cougars on Thursday.
Mm.
Um, I don't I don't want them to see one and done, but I'm a little concerned. They're the underdogs. But then again, that's what March Madness is all about, is rooting for the underdog. And Xavier Musketeers, they're always good for at least in the tradition, two, 2 rounds, 3 rounds at least.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But we'll see what happens because a lot of schools are not in it this year that were normally in it.
Really?
Um, I mean, a few of them on the edge. Some of them are having those revamp seasons of where all their good seniors are gone and they have to start all over again. I think the Wildcats, they had a pretty good season, even though they're going through a rebuild transition moment right now. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to having basketball on for the next 2 weeks to see what happens.
Yeah, it should be
Um,
exciting.
and you know what? I have I'm very proud to say that I'm a very sports oriented Cincinnatian.
Mm-hmm.
And I have something that represents, I think the only two teams I don't have something for is Xavier and FC Cincinnati, which I have to rectify. So at least I
Mm-hmm.
have something in my repertoire to show that I represent. I support all of Cincinnati, so I have to rectify that. So I'm gonna have to go get me something from Xavier.
Gotcha.
I don't
Well,
know
I
what
got I
the.
got plenty of Xavier stuff because I went to Xavier, so I'm rooting for them. Go
I'm
Musketeers.
probably either gonna go get a T-shirt or I'm gonna go get. Well, for the Bearcats, I have pajama pants, so which are very comfortable. So I'll have to figure out what I'm gonna get for Xavier. So,
Gotcha.
but overall, it's not that I'm suggesting everyone go out and get pajama pants to support your sports team. It's just me. So,
No, gotcha.
um, I'm. Are you looking at one particular? Ohio State didn't make it. That's who I couldn't think of for a second.
Oh, they
Can you
didn't make
believe
it?
it?
Oh,
They did not get in.
oh wow. It is surprising.
Yeah, I was over at the bank the other day, doing some business, and the guy was upset because his the Ohio State didn't get in, and his team, was it North Carolina, South Carolina, some Carolina team got in, but he's not too hopeful about it.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." So he's not too happy, but he said, "I'm going to be watching and listening." So I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
So I'm just going to say I look forward to it. I'm sure we're going to have interesting discussions about it
oh yeah,
in the
definitely.
following week and go from there. So
Okay.
that's all the chocolate news I have for today.
All right. Well, that's thank you, Andrea, for all the chocolate news. Greatly appreciated. That's it for today's show. And remember, folks, you can find more information about today's topics and past podcast episodes at www.thecincinnatiherald.com, the Sesh newsletter, or on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Our podcast is on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Amazon, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. In addition, the Cincinnati Herald is now looking for news distribution and delivery agents, so please contact our publisher Walter White at 513-680-7076 for more information. I'm John Alexander Reese,
And I'm Andrea Carter.
and have a good day.